Chapter 1, Mishnah 3. Chapter 2, Mishnah 3. Within the temple were areas with different levels of holiness. See Kalim chapter 1, Mishnah 8 and 9. One of these was the area just outside the walls of the courtyard, and woman's courtyard known as the Chel, and its holiness required that it not be entered by idolaters or by any Jew who contacted corpse tuma. The Chel was separated from the rest of the Temple Mount by a wooden fence called the Soreg. The Mishnah first describes the Chel and Soreg and then goes on to list a number of standard features of the temple. Within the Temple Mount wall was a wooden fence called the Soreg that was 10 handbreadths high. This fence ran around outside of the courtyard's walls on all four sides, at a distance of 10 amos from those walls. There were 13 breaks there, which the Greek king broke in the Soreg when they took, which the Greek kings broke in the Soreg when they took control of the temple. After recapturing the temple, the Jews went back and repaired those breaks and decreed 13 places of bowing down opposite the 13 places where the Soreg had been broken. Within the Soreg fence was an area called the Chel that took up the 10 amos between the Soreg and the courtyard walls on all four sides, and there were 12 steps there on the eastern side of the Chel. The height of each step was half an amma, and its tread, the top of the step, was half an amma long. The Mishnah now lists some standard features of the temple. All the steps that were in the temple were the same size. The height of each step was half an amma, and its tread was half an amma, except for the steps in front of the ulam, the eastern part of the Heichal building, which had treads greater than half an amma. All of the large doorways and gates that were there in the temple were the same size. Their height was 20 amos and their width was 10 amos, except for the opening of the ulam, which was 40 amos high and 20 amos wide. All of the doorways that were there in the temple had doors, except for the opening of the ulam that did not have doors but was closed off by a large curtain. All of the gates that were there had flat lintels, the top part of the gate that rests upon the doorposts, except for the Tadi gate, for at this gate there were two stones leaning upon each other at an angle, forming a peaked lintel. When the second temple was first built, the Jews could only afford to plate the wooden doors of the gates with copper. But when they became wealthier, all the doors of the gates that were there were changed to ones of gold, except for the doors of the Nicanor gate, which were purposely kept in their original copper plating because a miracle happened to them. But some say that these doors did not need to be changed because their copper already shined like gold.